Hello guys and welcome to another edition of Rage Against the Dice. Today, as you might be able to see from either the title or the models that are in front of the camera, we are looking at some Victrix limited 28mm hard plastic Vikings. These are Warriors of the Dark Ages. Now, I personally will be using these for two games. One is Warhammer Ancient Battles, a fantastic game that you can find the PDFs for free. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there. It's a game that no longer is made by Games Workshop, so they're not going to get mad at you if you download the rules. And the other, at the moment, is for a game that's been featured a lot on our channel and will definitely be featured a lot more, which is Baron's War. Now, these specifically will be used in the Conquest version of the game. If you follow me on Instagram and you follow the channel on Instagram, you'll see that I have been painting up Vikings ready, and the Vikings in questions are these. So this is my second set of them. These are a set I bought myself. They're not ones that have been sent to us for free. As I said, I've already got 60 of them, so this is another 60, and that's because I need more for the Warhammer Ancient Battle side of things. But yeah, with this, you get 2 command sprues, and then you get 4 or 5 normal sprues, and we'll see as we go through. We'll take a look at one each, and then what we're going to do is something we haven't done in quite some time on this channel, which is I'm going to build a couple of models for you. Now I'm going to speed that up slightly. I'm going to put some music in the background, but I'm going to show you my kind of process of building a couple of these bad boys. They don't come with bases, which is a Victrix staple. You can buy bases direct from the website, or you can pick them up from elsewhere. I use MDF bases, 2 or 3 mil thick, and I get those mainly from eBay, if I'm honest. And you can usually pick them up for fairly cheap. You can also pick them up from companies like WAB bases and things like that. But yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to open these up. I'm going to take a look at the 2 different sprues, and then I'm going to build a couple of models there for you and then show you them at the end. Now, I could cheat quite easily and I could show you ones I've already painted up and stuff. Maybe I will show a couple of those at the end, but we will get some building on the go. We do have other Victrix stuff coming up in the near future. We have the Dark Ages Archers, which will also be used for my Vikings, but I think also Sparks has made a couple of slingers and things like that for his Saxons. We also have some late war Roman light cavalry, which I'm going to be again converting up, but that's to make cavalry for my Vikings. And that's also for Baron's War. But I'll also be seeing if there's a way I can use them in Warhammer Ancient Battles. Now, any of you who don't know, it's not a big thing, but Vikings, they did use light cavalry once they settled over in England. And there are rules for those in Conquest. You just lose some of the special rules that you get for your Vikings. But yeah, that's by the by. So I'm going to open this up now, and then we're going to have a look at it. Back in a second, guys. So as mentioned, there is 2 different sprues. 2 of the sprues that you get in there, so you get the same sprue twice, which is your command sprue, and then you get 6 of the main warrior sprue. Now, it is really important that this gives you all your instructions of how to build things. Now, some of the newer kits come with proper instructions, as you will have seen from the unboxing video I did on the Knights. And you will also see when we put up the one for the Roman cavalry that there's instructions in there. But it shows you which bodies go with which heads. It tells you all the different bodies on there, and then it shows where they go. So it is really, really handy, and then it shows a couple of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom down now, and we're going to take a look. Now, it makes sense to look at the command sprue first. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down onto the table, and we're going to have a look at that. Now, the first thing you will notice up at the top here is the shields. You get 2 of the larger shields, and then you get 3 of these medium-style shields, and then you get 1 really small shield. Now, in Baron's War, Vikings can take small, medium, and large shields. For the most part, though, I only intend to be using the medium and the larges. The small ones, I might put them on some models, but I'm not the biggest fan of them. I have been using them on bits of scenery and things like that to make Viking-specific scenery. I think that's a really good idea, but again, it's just my own personal preference. Then over at the other side here, you've got 8 hilted swords. They're completely now there for aesthetic purposes. You can put them on your models to mark them as command units. As I said, this is a command sprue. Also, just for those ones that you want to give like a banner, horn or something like that, you've got the sword there, sheathed. Sheathed? Is that the right word? You guys will tell me if it's not. Then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models on this sprue. Some specific bodies. Some are one piece, some are torso and upper body, and those ones specifically will go together. So you can see there 1, 2, 3 are full bodied, and then you have these and this, which are just your torso-y one. And you've got that down there and that one on there, and they all go together quite nicely. Now, as you can see, this one has its arms raised. We'll get up close, and so for that you need very, very specific two-handed weapons, I believe. I built a number of this model, and it's the only one of them that I don't personally think is that fun to build. But again, it's just a preference. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heads, I believe. Then you get a number of different weapons there. You've got axes, you've got swords, you've got spears. You've got your two-handed axe over here. I believe Yep, there's the second two-handed axe. You get a cape. You also get a couple of fur cloaks. These fur cloaks match nicely with some of the different heads. Anybody who on Instagram has seen, I have painted up this guy, so I've used that head as one of my Jarls. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the next sprue. So again, here on the sprue, you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shields. So 8 shields on each sprue, which is more than there are models on the sprue, as you can see. No, I'm lying, there's 8 on a sprue. So you get 1 shield for each model. Of course, some of them are not going to have shields, depending on whether you're building, two-handed weapons. You've got guys with banners and things like that. So you're going to have some spare shields left over. They are the different sizes, so you've got large, mediums, and small. And again, it depends how you want to go with them. You get some swords again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get little extra like daggers and things like that. They're mainly ornate. Hang them from pouches and from belts and things like that. And then up at the top here, you've obviously got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different heads. Now, a couple of the heads only go on certain bodies, which means there are a slight amount of repetitiveness. So I'll show you what I mean here. So you can see there, that's just a normal flat. That's a normal flat. This one here, however, and that one. Oh, no, sorry, it's that one and this one here. Only specific heads will fit in there. So you'll notice on the back of the heads, a couple of them here have this little key lock. Now they'll only fit on there. And it is wise to prepare for that in advance because, trust me, I've made that mistake. I built 60 of them though, so it was fine. And then you get, see, some hands to put the shield on. You get a number of different hand weapon options. You get swords, axes. You get the spears. What else do you get? You get the two-handed axe where, so you can see down here, it's 2 separate parts and they plug together. What else do you get on there? There is a horn somewhere. There it is. So you get a horn. So you make musicians. It's not a big deal. If you're playing something like Baron's War, you're only going to need 1 or 2 of those. 1 or 2 at most. But if you're playing something like Warhammer Ancient Battles, you're probably going to have a horn in each unit. Is worth noting that. But yeah, so in terms of what you do get a lot of choice. Obviously, there's a lot of right-handed weapons there. Axe-wise, I think there's some left-handed ones, but I'm not quite sure. I will have to let you know on that as I'm building them, but what I would say is that would probably be where it lets it down for me. There's a lot of, you know, just right-handed weapon with a left-handed for the shield. Now, if you're doing rank and file, that's not that big a deal, but if you're using them for something like Ragnarok, which is a Viking heavy metal style game, we wanted that to be good. Trust me, we wanted it to be good. It is not. And there'll be like one Ragnarok fan, because they exist, who'll be angry at me in the comments, but yeah, I can deal with your one hate comment. But yeah, if you're using it for something like that, or you're using it for Baron's War or something, you want maybe a little bit more dynamicness to it in something that's very skirmish based. That being said, it's not a great big deal. I like to be kind of unbiased on this, and quite often if I really, really like a kit, it does sound like I'm just singing its praises. So I will obviously always take the counterpoint on that and tell you that, you know, it's not always brilliant. There are some faults on it. I would say the fact that shield-wise, there's exactly enough shields, but they're not all the same size. So if, for instance, you wanted to make just 30 warriors with large shields, and then 30 warriors with medium shields, you know, armoured and unarmoured, you couldn't do that. Because there is a mix of them on the sprue, armour-wise, sorry. You'll see that you've got 1, 2, 3 with armour, 4 with armour, and then you've got 4 that are what would be classed as padded in something like Baron's War, or leather armour. It's the only nitpick I have with it. I'd much prefer, to be honest, a sprue of 8, which were all heavy armour, and a sprue of 8 with, you know, some kind of light leather armour and, you know, some weapons choices on there. But I guess it's essentially the same. I'm being bitchy and nitpicky just so it feels a little more balanced, I guess, because I really, really like these kits. So yeah. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away and I'm going to build myself a Jarl, and I'm probably going to build myself a banner bearer using the command sprue, and then I'll probably build up one guy in mail armour and one guy in leather padded armour. Now mail is in like chainmail, not mail as in gender wise. I don't want to anger anyone, but yeah guys, so I'm going to pick something, you know, particularly Viking-y music wise, and then we'll get some stuff on the go. Back in a second, guys. So, in Baron's War, your basic Jarl, he comes with a spear. And I realised I didn't have one with a spear, so I've built one with a spear. Originally, you may have noticed in the video, I cut out the banner bearers. Then I realised it was a lot longer. So I just popped that to one side because it will get used. But I've just given him the cloak. I've given him no furs or anything like that. Because really, what I'll probably do is use him as a hearser or hairser. Basically, the step down from a Jarl. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to build one guy in plate mail and then one guy in light armor, and I'll probably build those with hand weapon and shield. I won't be gluing the shields on as I paint those separately, but just so you guys can see it. So yeah, I guess I'll cut out some bits and glue some stuff to some stuff. Back in a second. So right there, guys, as you can see, one with padded armor and then one with the mail. Now, obviously I haven't put the shield on yet. For obvious, I'm going to put the shield on at a later point once they're painted, because with the transfers, it's best to put those on a shield, especially if you're using the Victrix transfers, I mean. It's absolutely best to put those on a shield before you glue it to the model. So I'm going to spray the shields white, paint the edges, then put the transfers on. Victrix transfers are really, really good, but they are a little more complex to use. I think we might at some point do a video on it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple that I've already pre-built, and in fact one that's already painted. So give me a second, guys, and then I'll grab them. So here you have what I was using as a berserker in full chainmail or full mail with 2 hand axes. At the moment in Baron's War, that wouldn't be a legal model, but it does work for some of the other games that we use them for. Plus, I just thought rule of cool, you could give him the extra attack, because there is a skill in Baron's War that gives you an extra attack, and so that's how you could justify it. Here's a separate command guy. Now you can see that is the same model I built before. I've given him the bald head and the beard and the sword. I'm going to paint him up to look like myself because I'm a shallow, egotistical douchebag. There's a guy. He's got less helmeted head. He's got one of the bearded heads with a spear. And then here's my Jarl that I've painted. If you've been following on Instagram, you'll be able to see that. He's got the 2-handed axe, a Dane axe. He's got chainmail. He's got the commander's head. I've got a little bit of snow and stuff on the bases. So what we will do very quickly before I end off the video, and we'll pop these to one side, bear with me 1 minute, is we're just going to have a look at some of the heads and things that come on the sprue, because I think they're very interesting, and we didn't look at them in great detail. You are going to be seeing these guys a lot on our channel. So you can see here we've got a helmet. We've got a couple here. You've got a few more. You go across there and you look at all those. So you do have a bunch of different heads there. And then on the command sprue, we'll look at the ones that are on that. Outside of obviously the one that I just used. So spin these across. You got these couple of heads here. You got a couple of heads there. You swing it down there, you've got a couple more heads. You got that head there. And then obviously the bear head. So guys, I'm going to now go and feverishly build more models. The next video I think we've got is the Viking Dark Age archers. I hope you guys will like the next video. Hopefully you're following along with our Baron's War, Victrix, historical stuff. We've created our own little historical folder now. It's got some Wild West in there. It's got some World War II stuff, so bold action. It's also got some Blood and Plunder, so your piratey stuff. It's got some Oak and Iron, which is your ship battles. And then it's got Baron's War, and it's going to be featuring some Waterloo epic scale and a number of other things. So we are very excited about that. If you're enjoying what we're doing so far though, feel very, very free to leave a like. Maybe share it with some friends and family. I know I joke about a lot in terms of, share it with your dog and stuff like that, because I like to make light out of a situation. But it really does help us when you share it on. And apparently there is some sort of suggestion from, what they've looked at evidence-wise that says that if you say things like and subscribe and share and all that, it does actually help. So if you could, it would be awesome. But yeah, guys, check out Victrix stuff. They do a load of historical. They've been showing off some World War II stuff with kind of hints that they're going into production soon. So I'm very, very excited for that. You're definitely going to see more of this kind of stuff on our channel. It's the kind of stuff we're into at the moment. There's some really strong historical rule sets out there. Some companies that are really knocking out the park. Victrix, Wargames Atlantic, Footsore, Warlord Games, the Perry miniatures. God, do I love the Perry miniature sculpts. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment, check out some of our other videos, pray the dice gods, and hope they smile upon you. And thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.